Hello, family. Welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I am Wongel Zelalem. And for those of you who are celebrating, I know today is Good Friday. Um, Happy Good Friday. Jesus Christ has been crucified, and today Christians celebrate that because we believe he died for our sins, but it's not in our calendar. It's in the Gregorian calendar. In Ethiopian calendar, it's a week and a half later. So I just wanted to say that today we have an interesting an interesting topic to talk about. To be honest, watching this from the sidelines and witnessing world leaders, powerful world leaders, going at each other like as if it's a reality show, it's just been fun to watch. It's been entertaining. Personally, if you ask me, I have been entertained, and I continue to be entertained, especially since it has nothing to do with us. It's fun to witness and see what they are all about, and I look forward to having this chat with you because if you haven't been keeping up, I'm pretty sure you will find this topic entertaining. So, President of France Emmanuel Macron has officially responded to Trump's comment. Which comment, you might ask? The comment President Trump made about Emmanuel Macron's wife. Let me play for you the clip. We'll continue and discuss.
France, then I call up France, Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly. And he's still recovering from the right to the jaw. And I say, Emmanuel, we'd love to have some help in the Gulf, even though we're setting records and knocking out bad people and knocking out ballistic missiles. We'd love to have some help. If you could you please send ships immediately? No. We cannot do that, Donald. We can do that after the war is won. I said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel. Many of them said, we'll be there after the war is completed.
It's the voice for me, right? The imitation. So he's talking about, I'm pretty sure all of you have watched this clip, but I'll play it in case someone was not paying attention to what was going on a few months back. So he's basically making fun of what happened to Emmanuel Macron at the airport in the plane. It was such I cringe every time I watch that clip, that video. It's like I get a second-hand embarrassment. This is what happened to Macron. By the way, it's his wife and him. So just to clarify, you can see him, but you can only see the wife's hand. Oh my God. Oh my God. You see how he looks, how like every time I see this clip, I try to avoid it, but I had to come here and talk about it with you. So I had to watch it, had to save the video and bring it up. But every time I watch what happened to this man, is just, I'm embarrassed for him. And look, he has to go out and pretend like nothing happened, because you see, she didn't know that the door was open, so the timing was off. As the airplane door was opened, they didn't know that they're being filmed. So she threw, I know it's not a punch, but like she shoved his face, and it was pretty strong, like a strong shove. And see, it was open. The pilot opened it just in time. And now we know. And look at his face. Look at his. Woo! I don't know. I don't want to watch it anymore because it's so, like, I get embarrassed for him. And I know it's not just embarrassing, it's also wrong. It doesn't matter if you're, a woman or a man. You should not be raising your hand or touching someone else. It doesn't matter what their relation is to you. Like, you should not do that. It was quite, it's like, he is the president, a leader of a nation, and now how are the people gonna see him? Obviously, it's gonna change how they look at him. And even before this not punch, this push, people already speculate that his wife wears the pants, in the house. And his Macron, let's just say, he's not really respected that much. Even in his own country, he doesn't have a popularity. Like, he is not doing well in that way. And to on top of that, now to the world to see how he is being treated behind the scenes, it's an embarrassing moment for him, obviously, and he's not happy with it. But Trump decided to bring it to the forefront and talk about it and call him out. And all of this, by the way, is because of NATO. Trump is angry at his allies, and Trump is not happy with the way they treated him, because they didn't support what he did with Iran, right? Like, and we covered it when it happened. Most of them were skeptical. They're like, why are we doing this? Why are we messing with Iran when, we haven't seen a threat? They even called it, I remember NATO called it, what did they say? They just said, I'm paraphrasing, this was unprovoked, so they can't support it. And he hated that. Like, he hated that. So Trump is bringing this up to talk about how NATO is letting down US, and US should not be in NATO, all that conversation. But this is what Emmanuel Macron said and responded to what Trump said.
Guerre, on parle aujourd'hui de femmes et d'hommes qui sont au combat, de femmes et d'hommes et de civils qui sont tués, de la guerre qui sévit dans cette région. On parle aussi des conséquences de cette guerre
Hopefully you can see the subtitle, right? It's clear to see.
Sur nos économies. Je pense à nos compatriotes, les Américains vivent la même chose, les prix de l'essence, du gaz qui montent, et donc les propos que j'ai pu entendre, auxquels vous faites référence, ne sont ni élégants ni à la hauteur. Voilà. Donc je ne vais pas y répondre, ça ne mérite pas de réponse. Ce qu'il faut faire, c'est agir pour la désescalade, pour un cessez-le-feu, pour la reprise de négociations qui seules peuvent régler en profondeur ce qui se...
Yeah, so he said more, and I'll show it to you. I just wanted to show the part when he said he doesn't need to answer, but this is not elegant. And that was his response to what Trump said. Though there was another thing that Macron said, in case you can't see it clearly, I want to read for you like the quote, the direct quote, because I just cracked up. Like, reading this, I couldn't believe I'm reading a comment that was made by a president from France to a president, to the president of US. But anyways, this is, according to reports, Emmanuel Macron has sharply criticized Donald Trump's inconsistent and often contradictory pronouncements on the Iran war and NATO, saying, quote, if you want to be serious, it was better not to come out with something different every day. He said, there's too much talk and it's all over the place. We all need stability, calm, and a return to peace. This isn't a show. Well, it's kind of like a show to us, I'm not gonna lie. And he said, you have to be serious. When you want to be serious, you don't go around saying the opposite every day of what you just said the day before. And perhaps you shouldn't talk every day. Macron is saying this to Trump, by the way. Well, not directly, but, when the reporters were asking him, he was in South Korea, and this press conference happened there. So that's where they were asking him. Trump, let's start from here, okay? Trump said that they were winning the war, right? Trump, in the first place, never asked or sought for help from his NATO allies when he went and attacked Iran. So after he did that, he expected them to jump on board and just like ask, what do you need? Like, let's support with military, with with any help, financial, whatever you need, we're here to help. They didn't do that because they know better. Okay, they knew better. And look at what's happening to the Iran-US war. I know the mainstream media will have you believe that US is winning, and Trump wants you to believe that. But go do your research. You'll find something else. So he did that, right? He did that without asking them, and then wanted them to support. They didn't. He got angry, and then he came out and said himself, "We're winning the war. We are winning the war. We don't even need anybody's help." And they sat down and said, okay, cool. And then he came back and said, you see, they didn't support us. You see, they didn't help us. So why are we even in NATO? And his allies are like, wait a minute, I thought you said you're winning it and you don't need us. And then now he's coming back and saying, why aren't you supporting? So that's the conversation that you heard earlier, like the video I played for you is Trump basically talking about NATO and how he called France Macron and he was imitating him, and talking about how his wife, you know, his wife pushed him around. So even for a president to stoop that low, like to talk about this when they're talking about an actual war, that there are casualties in war, like we're seeing the effect it has. Other countries are getting involved as well, because Iran is also targeting those countries that have US base. So it's like a whole chaos is going on, and we're here talking about this. It's just so ridiculous, but that is what's happening. And let me play for you a last clip from Macron, and we'll continue.
Besoin.
You can
Je
read
pense
the
qu'on a tous
subtitle.
besoin de stabilité, de calme, de retour à la paix. Et ça n'est pas un spectacle. On parle de paix, de guerre, on parle de la vie de femmes et d'hommes, on parle de la situation de nos pays, des risques qu'il y a sur nos pays, et on parle de la situation économique de nos pays, d'ailleurs qu'il s'agisse des États-Unis d'Amérique ou de nous Européens ou ici d'Asiatiques. Tout le monde paye les conséquences. Donc il faut être sérieux. Quand on va être sérieux, on ne dit pas chaque jour le contraire de ce qu'on a dit la veille. Et il ne faut peut-être pas parler tous les jours. Il faut juste faire calmer les choses et bâtir une paix durable.
Sur les frappes.
Voilà.
Yeah, so I don't know where NATO stands now, especially after Trump. He's really ruffled some feathers. And now, and to Macron's credit, I never agree with Macron, but in this case, he's like, how are we supposed to trust you when you keep flip-flopping, when you keep changing your mind? Today we're good, tomorrow we're not good. Today you're saying you don't need us, tomorrow you need us. And then it's like, it's so confusing. Today there, and that's true, Trump will come and say, we don't want to be in NATO anymore, we're looking into exiting. So he is eroding the trust that they had with one another, which is, again, bring the popcorn. It's okay for me to sit and watch this and it's entertaining for the rest of us, but for them it's definitely like impacting them negatively. You know how they really think they could run the world with their alliance? It's really shaking that alliance, and they don't like that, obviously. But I don't think Trump cares, and it's quite entertaining to watch from the sidelines. That's that's what I have to say about this. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Trump is wrong for bringing in Emmanuel Macron's wife into this? Do you think he's wrong? Do you think it's okay to talk about this in the manner that he did? And I heard a lot of people agreeing with Macron's response, especially when it comes to him taking the high road. But then again, what kind of road could he have taken? Like, what could he have said? He's really belittled him and talked about his marriage, and it's not a good look, especially for Macron right now, with everything going on in his country, with his popularity outside of his country, like the former colonies standing up against him, pushing him out. He's just in a horrible situation. But yeah, like, it's going to impact the relationship now going forward, the US has with its allies. It's clear. Even allies like Japan, we saw how he treated their leader. It was just so bad, so bad. Let's see. McQueen said he needs to stop. Melania was and still is not a pretty woman. Oh my god. You're going down, right? You're going down with him. But yeah, I mean, you remember the documentary she released, or the movie she released, how much it flopped? What were they thinking in the first place? Why would they release it? Why not just put it on or Amazon or something? Why would you push it to be watched in a cinema? People have to pay tickets to go to the cinema and sit down and watch Millennium. Like, how did, I don't know. I think they have this, either their advisors give them fake news, fake information, fake numbers of their popularity, what the world thinks about them, and they really did believe that they are gonna get sales, and people would be so interested to watch and learn about his wife. But the other side, maybe they thought that it's okay. It's about the ego boost. Like, we made a movie, or it's a documentary about, like, they don't care if it's watched or not. It's about doing it. I don't know, one of the two, but it did not make sense to me. I remember in South Africa, only one ticket was sold. You can't make this stuff up. And yeah, I think eventually they had to shut that down because no one was watching. And to be honest, why would we watch? Like, sh- she's the least interesting person we've come across in a long time. Like, in regards to a first wife, like, there's not much. Like, we've not seen her do much, or even when she does, it's mostly like she looks like she's being forced to do it. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but clearly they thought that they couldn't sell. But yeah, it's not working out. Joe, hi Joe, a new member. Thank you for joining, Joe. Welcome to the African Diaspora News Channel family. Teresa said, "Hi, you are very good. You're very good, Wengel." Hi, Teresa. How are you? Doing well. Brian said, "Trump disrespects a lot of political leaders. I'm surprised they still deal with it." And the thing is, Brian, I've seen. I don't know if you've watched this. Let me know in the chat. There was like a BTS behind the scenes that Macron posted once, and behind the scenes he was having a conversation with Trump over the phone. I don't even know how they were allowed to film that. Like, maybe they already told him that he's being filmed, because I don't think you can film someone, especially the president of the United States, without his knowledge. So they were talking to him over the phone, and there was behind the scenes conversation, and you can hear how Macron treats Trump. He almost treats him like with a kid glove. You know how when you talk to kids, sometimes you walk in a shell, and you're like, you don't want to step on a shell. You're being kind with your words, but nice. But then again, like, he seemed like he's afraid of Trump. Basically, I think it's not necessarily being afraid of him, but the position he has, and not to mess with him, because they don't know. He's very indecisive, so they don't know what he's going to do next. So that kind of keeps them in check, and they can't act the way they would normally act. And I think that's why they don't want to deal with him, and the consequence that what comes after it, they really try to deal with him as peacefully as they can. And you can see that not just with Macron, but even with the others, like the UK prime minister. So it's more so how they can't predict what's next. I think that's what makes them a little bit tamed when dealing with him. Brian said many years his senior. Are you talking about Macron's wife? Yeah, she is. Apparently she was his teacher once, right? And he was 14 years old. Okay. Yikes. Teresa said quite masculine, like throw. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, Teresa. Brian said, as with H, people like Trump can come along when other leaders are too fearful to stand up to intolerable behaviors. There's a reason to believe Macron has been supporting terrorism in Niger. Its leadership seems to think so. Well, we also have to remember these people agree behind the scenes, or at least they're buddies, right? But they're supposed to be leading nations, and they have to also put up a front. They have to make it seem like they're doing something that makes sense to the world, to the people that they're leading. So there's that aspect as well, because they do have phone calls behind the scenes. They do chat. And if you remember, well, I don't know if you watched it, but earlier what I was talking about behind the scenes, when Macron posted his conversation with Trump, they were talking about Zelensky and figuring out the peace, or the lack of peace between Russia and Ukraine, and Macron was trying to get them to come together to have a conversation. Was the point, and he was saying, I'll talk to Zelensky. I'll bring him. He's on board. Like, even the way he's talking, you're like, you guys can just end this war, but you choose not to, because on the phone they're literally saying Zelensky is up to it. Can we come and have a chat and talk to you? We can. I can. I think Macron was saying, I can set up a dinner with you, Trump. So it's like they're really, they don't care how many soldiers get unalived in that battle or war. They don't care how many casualties. They don't care, as long as they meet their bottom line, as long as they are perceived to be the ones to get the peace deal. You remember how Trump was obsessed with the Nobel Peace Prize, like to the point where he was threatening the country's leader to give him the Nobel Peace Prize. It's about ego. It's about their names. It's about the conversation we will have about it, not necessarily who's going to lose on the ground, what kind of resources, how it's going to happen. Like, literally a week ago, we talked about how Trump himself was saying, when he was asked about Iran, I think we did it out of habit. What? Out of habit? Start a whole war? You just, I don't think us, average people can understand this mentality. And I hope we never do, because it's another level of like really not caring at all about human lives. It's just a number to them. Teresa said troubled creatures. Brian said, after the Niamey airport attack a couple of months ago, the media was going out of its way to connect to make sure everyone knew it was. But Abdurrahman Chiani knew better. He is sitting president of Council National. I don't know how to say that. It's French, aka National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland. Well, yes, Niger, I think, if I'm not mistaken, did make a statement, and they said that it was a foreign interference, and they did say, but they handled it, is what they said. And right now they're trying to target Niger as well. I've seen a hit piece just yesterday on Brahim Traore as well. They're coming back with full force, to be honest, and also with Nigeria, how they're setting up shop there, agreeing with the Nigerian government on how to use Nigeria, because Nigeria shares a border. Like, Nigeria is really close to the Sahel states. So they're really positioning themselves to, do as they please. We pray that they're not successful, because we really believe the Sahel Alliance is a great symbol, not just symbol. They're actually on the ground working, but it's also proving to other African countries that you can come together, not just say it, not just speak about it, but also unite in a form of your forces, your military. They've come up with their own joint forces. They are working on the same media, having one media. They're working on having the same network. They're not. They're making it easier for people from Mali to Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso to move around. They're making it easier in many ways to trade, to do business, to come together. So they are the real threat of 2026, because they are quite literally showing the world that Africans can do it. They're pushing back. They are removing or destroying the narrative of these Africans. They can't come together. They can't work together. They're changing it, because even like, I believe they just started their biometrics passport, so they'll have the same passport. Like, it's incredible what they're doing. So we just hope that they continue to do what they're doing. Also, keep their circle tight, because they can be infiltrated easily. It could be as easy as like the next country asking to join them, and then destroying the alliance. So I get that. Brian said, if you release a pit bull into someone's house and shut the door behind you while you're outside, you caused any damage the pit bull does in the house, more than anyone should be blaming the dog. Oh, if you are the one releasing it, yes, I hear what you're saying. So yes, fam. This is our world leaders right now. These are the leaders that are leading the most powerful nations. And um, it's just, yeah, as I said in the beginning of this video, it gives reality show. It's giving a show that just, I wouldn't even say unscripted. Well, yeah, unscripted, whatever. It's just an entertaining show for us, though, not for them. I can tell you this much: like this damage that is being created now, it might look small, but in a few years, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see it grow bigger. Because once you lose trust, once, for example, other nations, the allies, realize that U.S. cannot be trusted in that what do you call it, like alliance, then what's going to be next, right? So it's going to get worse, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, what goes around comes back around. They came together to dismantle other nations, to hurt others, to destroy others. Now I think it's time that they're destroying themselves from within. Actually, it's not even coming from outside. So definitely an interesting conversation. And yeah, we'll continue to sit back, relax, have a popcorn or two, and watch and see what's going to happen. Anyways, fam, if you don't have anything to add to this chat, I mean, let me give you a few minutes if you have. We can further discuss a little bit if you have any pointers that I missed. But outside of that, um, I'm just entertained. I'll just leave it at that. I'm just entertained. Oh, Sta Ruaka said, looks like scripted reality, but not for our entertainment. Yes, yes, yes. By the way, it's not for our entertainment that they're doing this, but it is entertaining, right? They're not doing this for us. That's for sure. But it doesn't change the fact that we're entertained. Brian said, media reach really is important to determine what people think and believe about world events, especially pertaining to the continent, of course. And I think we were so slow to understand this, which is fine. We got here eventually. We're getting there eventually. But the continent, especially of Africa, didn't understand the power, soft power, the power of media, right? But I'll give US this all the time. Like they knew, or the government knew, by investing in media, they can control the world. And that's exactly what they did. And it's not just like the influence is not just in Africa. The influence, you see it in Asia, you see it in the Middle East, you see it in European countries. America really, really used the soft power like Hollywood and their mainstream medias to push a specific narrative that they wanted to push, and they were successful, because now it is taking us years to unravel and to dissect what we believed to be true, what we believe to be fact, from what is not true and what is not fact. So they definitely used it well. But I wish, well, not but I wish, I hope now that we realize how important it is to use media properly and accordingly, in a way that you want to, to show your country, to show your people, to even as simple as to see yourself on the media in a good light, right? It's going to impact you without you even realizing it. As a kid growing up, if you're seeing your people painted as these horrible humans, or the savages, or these unintellectual people, by the time you grow up, without you even realizing it, deep down subconsciously, you start seeing those that don't look like you as if they're above you, as if they're better than you, and start seeing yourself at the bottom of the hierarchy, or of the world. And that is something that we dealt with. But now that we realize that media is as important, others are also realizing it. By the way, China is doing something in Africa with media. They're planting satellites and showing their shows, their history, their culture, their language, pushing it on young Africans. The French billionaire we just talked about. Oh, I think it's supposed to go up today. Okay, if you're not on our website or on our app, African Diaspora News Channel app, you haven't watched it yet. I posted a video, but today I think it comes up here on this channel after like 2 hours or so. It's about the French billionaire that bought an African media company. And what do you think he plans to do with that media? Like, he's trying to target Africans in their minds and pushing a narrative. Also, the story that you'll watch today is about how he is to stand on trial for bribery, like how he's bribing African leaders. It's a good story. Please watch it. So yeah, they understand that even Indians with Bollywood, it's us that we haven't pushed or used our skills to program the world. So now it's about time, and we do realize it for the most part. So we're doing it, I think. Yes, thank you, Brian, Canal Plus. Yeah, so that's the topic for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, for those of you who are celebrating today, it's Good Friday. Have a beautiful Good Friday. I'll see you next week. Stay blessed. Bye.